Hey Art Fam, it's Luis Martin, the art engineer. Welcome to the safe space. Welcome to the studio. Let's play this low stake, high reward collage dream adventure game and create this. I unbox the Collage Dream Digital Kit, which you can get now at collagedream.com, and see what stories emerge. I spilled the beans on a bunch of stuff. I just noticed the neon is off. I think we need a new Patreon. All right, you can become a patron at collagedream.com, $5 a month, and it'll be magical. How's that for a pitch? Let's jump in. Are you ready? Look what I have here. So this is the kit, you guys. I have such a fun time putting this together, and this time I have this new little addition. If you've seen the t-shirt, they all say piece it together. Why? Duh, we're collage artists, right? We're artists, period. And as artists, we can piece anything we want together. You want money? Sell a work. You want world peace? Hang out with peaceful friends. I don't know. We can do this. We're artists. I'm not kidding. So manifest something. There we go. I said the M word. So this is fun. And of course, I didn't even plan this, but you know, as above, so below. And there's Frida. So, you know. Okay, so as always, we have a prompt and we have a collective image, which is always really fun. And I always try to include the one from last month. In January, it was a little baby. I got this printed at Staples. You can print them yourself. I like Staples because I don't want to buy a printer. I don't want to have to worry about inks. I don't have to worry about maintenance, none of that stuff. So they do it for me, and I love them now because now they're part of my community. Hey, Will, if you're watching, who is the Staples guy. And the paper quality is really, really good, I must say. So we have this, and then here is the collective image. If you saw the last episode, you know who these little guys are in my head and who they actually are, what they represent. So we can have fun with this. It is Frebrullage. We're in the thick of it, I think. What, today's the 7th? It's only the 7th. I thought we were the 15th. So if you are participating in this, congratulations. It's just so fun to be here, isn't it? This really helps me focus on the colors, the images, the conversations I want to have, right? Because, you know, we all have a friend, right, who like loves something, pizza, historical events, and no matter what, it'll always go to that with the conversation, right? Hurt people do that too. You know, they always talk about their traumas. So like that, actually, that's kind of what I'm doing. So I'm talking about my traumas through the prompts, right? So today, when you're watching this, it's Thursday, which is ladder. Actually, with this one, I did not talk about my traumas. I talked about what? Ascending. What else am I going to talk about? But if you do choose a subject that you feel passionate about, like cats, I always go to cats, or I don't know, New York, it's really fun to play with these things, right? So, you know, funneling the toxicity of New York, or funneling the cardboardness of New York. It just gives you a nice little parameter to work within. This is the digital kit. In the physical kit, everybody got a little booklet, and this was the label. I had so much fun making this, so I thought I'd send it to the digital kits people too, the art fam, so they can cut it up and do whatever they want with it. I love it. I had so much fun making this. Okay, but today I don't want to do Frebrullage. Today I'm going to kind of just vibe on whatever in the kit and maybe bring some things that I have lying around the studio. This, you know, again, this is a time capsule. This is a love letter. This is literally a picture I took hanging out with my friend Madeline, who's also a Collage Dream art fan. Hey, Madeline. Madeline. So, yeah, I mean, it's also February. It's also Black History Month. I mean, listen, the inspiration never ends. Just pick something out of the air, right? Love this. Obviously, always love flowers, so I might work with this. This is just ridiculous fun. What's happening, right? Are these baby cars? Are these toys? Is this ginormous? I don't know, but it's fun. So you can play with this. Like I said, I like flowers. I also always like to create a pattern. It is so fun to do that. So I did this for y'all. I hope you like it. Let me know what you think. I mean, can you imagine wrapping a gift in this or making a card? Kind of cool, right? I'll play with this. This, I don't want to. So here's the thing. I hate telling people too much information because it creates biases if we want to speak academically, right? I don't want you to look at this and think, oh, these are, New Yorkers having a day in a flower shop, or whatever preconceived notion we might have of roses, of the hand. So I rather you see the image and let your imagination dictate the story, right? Because that's how we kind of get our intuition activated. So I'll give you some information, not too much. This is an actor, a queer actor. Love him. So I really want to play with this. This, I mean, come on. Isn't this gorgeous? This is actually from a flea market here in New York, one of the last open air flea markets in Chelsea, which is a neighborhood here in New York. It's next to a church that burned down, that's closed, but the facade of the building is still there. It was beautiful. I went there with my friend Guy and his dog. Love that, yeah. So here, this came a little pixelized, but it's okay. This is the stamp that I used for the label. I thought I doctored it up a little bit, but it's New York, New York. I mean, talk about beauty. I won't censor this because why self-censor, right? So this is beautiful. Work with it. Make beautiful things out of it. It's New York. I guess this is as much a love letter to New York as it is to you, right? So this is, I'm always drawn to the decay of the city because of the contrasting colors as well, right? I mean, there's tons of it. I picked the prettiest, so don't come to New York expecting to find beautiful everywhere. I mean, if you set your eyes right, you probably will see beauty everywhere. But there's exceptional graffiti and textures on certain places if you know where to look. So look at this yellow and this green, and just, it looks like paintbrush more than it does like tear, right? So I love that. Maybe I'll play with this. And this is a Japanese print, one of the more tamed ones, or some naughty ones. If you're into that, let me know, because I was going to include it, but then I thought, so this is fun. Look at all, I mean, just what really excites me are all the textures, right? All the patterns, and it keeps the eye moving. So maybe I'll play with that idea. Okay, so how are you? Are you enjoying your Frebrullage? Are you even doing it? Are you thinking about it? Sometimes thinking about it is enough, right? So I want to play with Mr. Actor here. I mean, even this is just beautiful. I just want to plaster this on the wall, really. I already had some ideas, but I kind of just want to spend time with it, right? I know who this person is, so it's kind of influencing my choices, but I'm just going to go with it. So I thought one thing I'd do, I'd remove the background, right? So let me just take this out. Okay. So it's, I know. It's colder where you are, but I'm bored of this cold, you guys. I wanna walk in the sun. It's not from girls just want to have fun. Did you watch all the awards and award season? Here's my 2 cents about that. I didn't watch them. I'm not into any of that stuff. I'm from LA, so I used to love watching the Oscars. I used to ditch school to go hang out outside and see all of the setups and hope to see stars. But then we realized that we'd have to be back home by the time the actors actually showed up. But growing up in that environment was interesting. I had because everyone works for the machine, everyone works for Hollywood. As a matter of fact, we had a PE teacher. I don't know. As an adult now, I'm like, what was he doing at our school? He was a PE teacher, and he was also an agent. So he moonlighted as a coach, or he moonlighted as an agent. So he worked in Hollywood, and he had access to certain uh, events. And one of those events was a premiere. So he gave a bunch of us tickets, and we got to go to the premiere of, and this was probably life altering, Interview the Vampire. And as you can tell, that'd be something that I really enjoy. So we went, and we got to be those inner city kids on the sidelines who got to shake everyone's hand. So we got to shake all of the cast hands. So I shook Brad Pitt's hand, I shook Tom Cruise's hand, and all this other fun stuff. And I was a teenager, so it was really interesting. And then we got to sit in the front, and we got to sit in back of Claire Danes and Jared Leto, who at that time were in My So-Called Life. So it was great. It was fantastic. But, and this is, part of the reason I'm really not into that is I recognized my role right away and all that. I was the inner city charity case. You know what I mean? And this is, speaking from trauma. So it was cool, but I also realized that asking for an award or aspiring to that kind of award was not a ruler that took me into account, right? Like, yes, as a kid, obviously, like I said, being in LA, being an actor was part of like the dream, and really maybe this is like a manifestation of that, and how cool I get to, scratch that itch through here. But for people of color, as we all know, in Hollywood, you really have to create your own opportunities, and in the world in general. So I do not measure myself with rulers that do not take me into account, all to say. So, even with art, when we look at art, don't measure yourself with people in galleries or museums right now, because believe me, they do not measure themselves or think about the work that you're doing, the work that we're doing, unless you fill a very ideal mold, right? But not to say you can't have it. Quite the opposite. Go for it. So look what I did. I just kind of took out the background. It's a little messy, I think, but I think it'll serve a purpose. So I do have that flower that I did, and look what happens. Isn't that, that's so cool. So things are happening. And again, collages don't always have to be so frenetic. I love making collages that are just like scraps. But I think sometimes when it just takes one idea, like maybe perhaps today I'll only take out some of the background and put it against this, and that'll create a stunning result. So let's play with that. I'll tell you more about my salacious childhood. I do love that movie, though. I loved Interview the Vampire. And here's the thing, right? Like, when you are so programmed to idealize and idolize Hollywood and actors, you settle for peanuts and you don't realize they're peanuts, right? I was so excited to also shake Antonio Banderas' hands, because they're like, oh, the Latino. He's not Latino, he's European, he's Spanish, different. So I was like, oh, representation. No. Again, I was the inner city sideliners, right? Don't go there. We're not charity. So at any rate, it's an interesting thing to be able to process, but also, super grateful because it opened my eyes. And that was a cool time. Thank you, Mr. Rock. But how weird, right? I hated Jim. Obviously. We're art kids. Can I tell you, actually, I hated Jim so much that I joined a dance class. And I don't know if you can tell by me just sitting down, I really can't dance. So I was the only boy in this dance class. I must have been, 15? And it was all girls, and they had, they were doing their routine. And there was this is horrible. There was this routine that required a pelvic thrust. The collective just did a pelvic thrust to the music. And my teacher, the one that, I don't remember her name because I was like, bye. She's like, except for you, Luis. Don't do the pelvic thrust. I was like, okay. Funny. Funny. Gee. What was your high school experience like? Leave comments. Let us know what that was like. Uh, I also had a car when I was in high school. This was crazy, guys. Okay, now I'm saying too much. When I was a kid, when I was in high school, I got a car. So I was very lucky at a young age. I was able to enter art contests and win quite a few and make a little money, you know? So by little, I mean little, but it was money. And I needed a car for whatever reason, you know, for school or to try to get a job somewhere. And my mother got me a $400 car. And it didn't have locks. And it didn't have an ignition. It had a button. I recently told this to my sister, and she's like, oh, you lived in the future. Because I guess now cars have buttons now. I don't have a car now, so yeah. So I thought that was really funny. But the most important thing, and here's the funny thing, right? The most important thing, it didn't have a damn radio. It didn't have a radio, so I traveled with my boombox and like a plethora of batteries because they would go out often. It was hilarious. And of course, because the car was $400 and this was 1996, the car would stall. So I would be in a very busy LA inner city traffic stuck. And I think that's why I learned to be cool. Like, I'm not gonna panic, you guys. I'm just gonna sit here and try the ignition a few times, and if not, I got my boombox because it's not powered by the car. I'm telling you, you know, you just roll with the punches, and then you won't get hit. So yeah, so that was fun. So you can say we've come a long way. Yes, we have. But whatever. It's all good. What kind of car did you have? I always wanted a Jaguar, like one of those teal Jaguars. Oh, they were so beautiful. That was beautiful. Actually, the same teacher that I had, actually, he didn't like me. Okay, now as an adult, as I think about it, I think it was not nefarious, but it was weird because he was very, you know, like involved, but mostly with the girls, not with he didn't, whatever. The thing is that it was a bunch of girls and me. So, but one thing I loved, because he had access and because he came from Hollywood, he had he bought a lot of CDs, and he had a car that he would take us to, you know, Santa Monica, the beach. It sounds horrible now that I'm saying it. At any rate, but he used to drive so fast, and he used to play such great music. Oh, I was like, yes, this needs to be me without the teenagers when I grow up. So it's funny, these little influences, right? And also, actually, talking about things that impacted you. So he was a very tall white man, blonde hair, blue eyes. But he would take us places that we wouldn't have access to on our own, that we wouldn't even know about, right? So like restaurants, shops, yeah. And I don't know. And again, it granted us access, right? So I felt very comfortable in high-end places, and I'm like, yeah, this is where I belong. So I thought that, again, another thing that I was really grateful about, because I don't have any hang-ups about being in beautiful spaces. Quite the opposite. I feel like I deserve beautiful places, and if I can't get there, I'll create them myself, because now I know what they look like. And look what this looks like. Oh my gosh. Okay, this is gorgeous, you guys. I love this. I mean, I could be done, right? What do I want to do? So here's the question, right? Do I want to continue this thing around, or do I like that it's just in the center? I don't know. This is really pretty. Okay, so you know what? I think I'm just going to leave it at that in the middle because I want to do something else on the other side. So I need to. It'd be nice if I had more than 2. It's okay. We'll do, like I said, we'll do with what we have. Okay. So, and these are the stories that kind of come together and play out in my work, right? And if you look hard enough in the work that you've done, you'll realize that you are also telling your stories through your work, even if you don't realize it. You can't help but to do it. Okay, so I kind of wanted to be playful. I have these colored pastels, oil pastels that I hate, that maybe we can play with. Let's see. What I love about these is that look at that contrast, right? Like you can, I love it. I love it. Okay, so we can play with it. The only thing is that it can smear, it can get a little messy, but who cares, right? Like actually one thing that I tell everybody, and really, if you're precious about your collages, don't be. Take a picture of it because more people are going to see it on Instagram, on your website, if you still believe in that. I do. If you still have one or if you don't have one. But they're not going to see it in person. Like, I doubt more than, a handful of people are going to see this actual collage, but they will see it on Instagram if I post it. So that's what kind of matters, that digital footprint, right? And if you were like, well, I want it to be in a museum and I want it to be, seen by many. Well, if you keep making more and more, then yes, people will definitely see it because that's the only way people pay attention to artists, right? When they're creating. So I recommend do not sweat it. Don't be precious about it. And make more. That's the key to being an artist, being prolific, and not for prolific's sake, just for being in flow's sake, really, right? Love it. Yes. Okay, so one cool thing that I love to do that always makes things very interesting is playing with hues or values, whatever you want to call it. So I have this brown. Now I'm going to take a different hue or value of the brown. 2 very different things that I don't know what I'm talking about, but 2 similar colors, but different. One cooler, one lighter. And I'm just going to trace over it because look what happens. All of a sudden it gives depth. You see that? Kind of gives it shadow. And it does something, I promise. You don't have to go over each, but I just think it's kind of interesting. I do think we need a focal point, though. Focal points are important. This guy's missing something. Okay, focal point. You know what I'm going to use? Duh. Oh, isn't that cool? So I keep things... I don't keep things. I'm just, as I work, things are always falling out of. Oh my God. That is so cool. So what's happening here? Yes, it's cool, but this gets lost. This kind of gets lost a little less. So maybe not this guy. I always say, look on the other side. Meh. Actually, it makes enough of an impact, right? But I think I can do better. Remember I said this was beautiful for all of the textures? So let me do this. Oh, wow. Okay, let me take this. This is beautiful, you guys. Okay. Look at that purple. So what do you want to do this summer? Start planning, start visualizing it. I want to run naked in a rainforest. Make love in a train. I'm kidding. Do you know what that's from? 10 points if you put it in the comments. That's from a song. What song? Okay, again, it's beautiful, but it's too busy. Too busy, so you can't see it. So what I'll do is I'm going to take the purple. Purple in Spanish is morado. It also means a bruise because bruises are purple, right? So you can say, tengo un morado. I have a purple. Okay. And I'll take a little bit of this because this is kind of fun too, right? Okay, let's see what this does. And again, we're not going to be rushed. Oh, I just saw something, you guys. Purple on purple. That's kind of interesting. Okay, let's keep exploring. Okay, so this works because it's solid, because it's blue. This works because it's red. It jumps out. I think I need a solid. Who can do me a solid? What would you do? What would you do with this? Wouldn't that be fun? Ooh, you heard that? It's always a good thing. Means I got an email. Someone's thinking about me. Okay. Maybe I'll stick with the blue, right? This is too busy. Yeah, I think I'll stick with the blue. That woman holding her hair is so beautiful, you guys. I really hope someone makes something daring and beautiful. Kind of reminds me of like Lady Godiva, but not. Okay. Now remember, the cool thing about this is this is copyright free, which means you can use it to your heart's content. No one's going to come after you. And you can print as many as you want. Yes. Look at that. I mean, do you see that? Do you see how that just pops? And now if I want, I can like, throw this in and it does something. But without it, it was just kind of sad and lonely. Like, look at that. That does something too, but let me see if I can get just a blue. I don't want to take away from my flowers in the back. So get yourself one of these hole punchers. They're fun. They're fun. Let's see. Yeah. Yes. Let me just get rid of this. Again, we're not striving for perfection, but we are selling an illusion, as RuPaul would say. So what did I do here? Did I overcut it? I think I did. It's okay. Oh, there we go. Parfait. Yes. Yeah, I really like this. Do you see how different this is? And again, it was because why? Because I did minimal work, right? So don't work hard, work smart. So to create this effect, I just kind of worked smart and just took away a little bit of the back, right? And use what I already had. Again, I'm not prepared today, you guys. I just have this instead of my double stick tape. Okay. It was a little dry. Cool. And I mean, we're gonna have to gild dilute. Oh, you saw that? But there would have been no contrast, so it's fine. Okay. So I love this. I absolutely love this. Now, I can play with the pattern. So one thing I did, so this is the thing. Sometimes you'll make collages and they'll come out horribly, but the act of making them will teach you something. So last week I did a live and I made a collage and I painted on it. And this is what came out. Look at this. I painted these little word bubbles and it was cool. It was fun. So now I'm thinking, ooh, maybe I can revisit the black thought bubbles, speech bubbles. So let me see. Where do I have black? Un moment, s'il vous plaît. Maybe it doesn't even. Oh, here we go. Okay. Let me get settled here. Okay, so again, it doesn't have to be all crazy, right? Perhaps. I love using my blade as a pencil, as a stylus, right, to draw. So see how I'm drawing this? Try it. It gets easier the more you do it. Oh, yes, I love this. So again, why does this work? Because his mouth is over here. because it's playing with the black and white palette, right? Again, it would be nice to have those darn double adhesives, but whatever, we'll work with what we have. Maybe this one's better. I'm telling you, this Frebrullage season, we've been working, Elvis and I have been working voraciously, and everything is everywhere. That's kind of nice, right? Everything. That's that movie. Okay, here we go. I know that's not the title. Okay, so there you go. That's one. And maybe I'll continue with this guy. But maybe, okay, so here's the problem. See how it's buckling? It's fine. I won't be so precious. So I'm going to make something ridiculous. Okay. So I'm going to make a really long speech bubble. And what the hell do you think he's saying? He's probably giving you some advice. Okay, so I guess you stuck around. If you stuck around this long, you deserve the insight. So this is a Hollywood actor. I forget his name. That's not important. The thing is that he was queer. He was gay. In that time, obviously, that's not something you were flaunting, but it was a known secret. At any rate, he was killed by hustlers, male prostitutes, because at that time you really couldn't have lovers, you couldn't have boyfriends, you can get married openly. So you did everything in clandestine, and of course, what's going to happen? Things that stay in shadow aren't always the safest. So he hired people to keep a secret, and those people betrayed him. So, be grateful for now. I know I am. Okay, I think, what if he's saying it? Oh, I like this. Okay, so this is kind of unexpected, right? So he's saying it. And you know what? I'm just going to leave it like this. I don't want to do that. As a matter of fact, I think I'll take this off. And I hate buckling, you guys. Ooh, that created an interesting effect, didn't it? Okay, something happened. Something just happened. Okay. Because I took that one out, and it created that beautiful tear that, again, reminds me of paint. I kind of like this. Isn't that? Okay, that's cool. So now, again, if I had tape, this would be lovely. You guys, don't hate me because I'm beautiful and unprepared. Okay, so this is stupid. What I want to do is I want to tear something. And okay, so blooper reel. What I wanted to do is I wanted to create more tears like that. And the only way to do that is if you have really strong tape. This doesn't really do anything, I don't think. So burnish, burnish, burnish. Ah, it did, yes. Cool. Sorry for the shaking, you guys, I know. Oh, that's so cool. And I think that's all I need, really. Okay. Am I done? Okay, now I'm really guilty. I wish I could cover his eyes. Okay, I'm gonna do this one more time. One more time. Actually, no, I think it's okay. Okay. I'm just gonna let it be. But I love it. Okay, this is my collage. This is my collage. Thank you for sitting with me, and let me tell you a little bit what I think happened here. So again, I started with this really busy image of this person facing different ways, and it kind of creates this grid, and it's really cool on its own. So sometimes when you start with beauty, you'll end up with beauty. Fine. But go in there anyway and make it ugly. That's a good thing. I took the windows, I took a little bit of the back and put that pattern I created with the roses, and it instantly kind of transformed it into a spatial place, right? And then I put some blue for contrast, and then the story kind of started coming out, right? This idea of saying something and but being censored, maybe? I don't know. this is cool. I'm glad where it went. So if I really wanted to make this better, or not better, but ready for a frame, I'd get rid of the white border around it and then just secure it, and then it's done, right? And again, I'll take a really good picture of it, put it on Instagram. You guys, this has been actually really, really fun. And thank you for letting me overshare. So now you know why I like fast cars and really loud music. I am Luis Martin, the art engineer. Get this collage kit at collagedream.com. They're $15, copyright free. You can blow them up as big as you want, sell them on your street corner with your lemonade, and have tons of fun. All right, I will see you here, there, and everywhere. Take your phone. Also, become a member because it's only $10 if you do. Cheers.